variety of programs to generate wage employment for the poor and skilled people living in rural areas. We have already understood that actually more poor people are living in villages. We want to create more employment opportunities to them. The government has a variety of programs to generate wage employment for the poor unskilled people living in rural areas. As we have already seen that actually more unskilled, this word you need to remember, more unskilled poor people are living in rural areas. Rural areas means villages, that's all. In August 2005, the Parliament passed a new act to provide guaranteed wage employment to every rural household whose adult volunteer is to do unskilled manual work for a minimum of 100 days in a year. The government wants to provide job opportunities, job to village people. Okay, so what actually the government did in 2005, the Parliament passed a new act to provide guaranteed wage employment to every rural household whose adult volunteer is to do unskilled manual work for a minimum of 100 days in a year. At least 100 days job opportunities work the government guaranteed to give them. This is known as Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. The abbreviation is MNREGA. So we can check actually. This is known as Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. So as per this act actually the people mainly the adult volunteer in a house in villages get 100 days work in a year, at least 100 days work, manual work. That manual work they get for at least 100 days. Okay, that is what actually the government wanted to do. The government want its people to get job, especially the village people. Why especially the village people? Because more poor people are living in the villages. They are unskilled. So that is why the government initiated at least a manual work. They are actually capable, they are not capable to do highly professional work. Some work they wanted to do, at least 100 days work in a year they must get, okay, so that they can run their family better way. This scheme is also known as, this program is known as Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. Okay. Under this act, all those among the poor who are ready to work at the minimum wage can report for work in areas where this program is implemented. So, in almost every villages this program they implemented. The people who are ready to work, they can for minimum wage only. It's not providing high rates. Okay. A minimum rates the government is providing. Okay. So, they can at least earn something and run their family better way. For their livelihood they can work. That is why the minimum wage manual work program. So, that is what actually rural, and it will come under Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. So, nearly 5 crore households get employment opportunities under this law. So, under this program, around how many people? Around nearly 5 crore householders are getting employment opportunities. So, see, this is not a small work. Actually, the government wants to give more employment opportunity to its people. That is why they introduced MNREGA program. Okay. As per this program, more village people get a job. More people means more unskilled people get job. This is what this paragraph says. The government wants to ensure work. The third approach to addressing poverty is to provide minimum basic amenities to the people. So the third approach to addressing poverty is to provide minimum basic amenities to the people. India was among the pioneers in the world to envisage that through public expenditure on social consumption needs. What are they? Provision of food grains at subsidized rates, education, health, water supply and sanitation, people's living standard could be improved. Our government, Indian government wants to improve the standard of living of our people, especially the village people. They are suffering more. So we wanted to provide good education, health, water supply and sanitation. So many people in the rural area are not having proper sanitation facilities like toilets, bathroom, etc. So what the government wants to ensure that the basic amenities, all these basic needs they wanted to fulfill. Okay. So the government wants to work on this. Government is providing this. First of all, we wanted to eradicate the poverty from our country. So the poverty can be eradicated only when we provide enough employment opportunities to our people. That is why our government is providing minimum wages program. So that we have already understood what is that. Okay, now the government also, the same way the government also wanted to provide better basic amenities, okay, to the people. India was among the pioneers in the world to envisage that through public expenditure. See, so Indian government is spending its own money, okay, because why? We wanted to transform the lives of people. That is why. So basic amenities we wanted to provide, basic needs they have. So many needs are there, because you know that what are the basic needs we can say. So the education we wanted to provide, better education we wanted to provide, health we wanted to provide, better health, water supply and sanitation. Of course, nutritious food also we wanted to provide to them. So the overall what the government wants to do, the overall we wanted to change the people's living standard. The living standard we wanted to change. So programs under this approach are expected to supplement the consumption of the poor, create employment opportunities and bring about improvements in health and education. That is what the basic needs actually. So we wanted to provide employment opportunities. We also wanted to give better health and education. Health facilities the government wants to provide. That is why in every villages the government started primary health centers, okay, PHC centers, primary health centers, also the primary schools actually, basic education facilities also our government started providing. Of course, we can see a lot of changes in our country. So every villages got its own school, then health facilities like a hospital, then Anganwadi, etc. our government is providing. One can trace this approach from the 5th year plan onwards actually. So the 5th year plan onwards, the government is focusing much on people's health, education, then sanitation, etc. Even with the expanded employment opportunities, the poor will not be able to buy for themselves all the essential goods and services. See, the government is actually providing more employment opportunities nowadays. Even though then also what is happening, the poor will not be able to buy for themselves all the essential goods and services. So they need support from people. Need support from the government. That is what, okay. So the government is providing its support to the people on the development of basic amenities, okay, also the education, better job opportunities, employment, then also the government is supporting the people with its every facilities, every infrastructure like schools, hospitals, etc. the government is providing. Then they have to be supplemented up to at least certain minimum standards by social consumption and investment in the form of essential food grains, education, health, nutrition, drinking water, housing, communications and electricity. All these we wanted to provide to our rural people, So people must get electricity power, then people must get nutritious food, then proper drinking water, the clean drinking water, then education, health facilities, essential food grains, etc. The government wants to make assure. 3 major programs that aim at improving the food and nutritional status of the poor are public distribution system. So through the public distribution system, government is actually distributing nutritious food and also food grains. So rice, wheat, kerosene, sugar, all those are actually distributing through the public distribution system. We have so many supply chains, the government has also started ration system, etc. Ration shops are available. Also the government started portion abhiyan and midday meal system. Portion means nutritious food. The government is providing to children as well as to the pregnant women. So the portion abhiyan and midday meal scheme, Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana is providing better roads to the villages. Valmiki Ambedkar Awas Yojana for houses for poor people also attempts in developing infrastructure and housing conditions. It may be essential to briefly state that India has achieved satisfactory progress in many aspects. In many areas we can see lot of changes in our country. So of course the development we can say, lot of developmental programs are going on still in our country. The government is doing its hard work and government is trying to eradicate poverty, and the government wants to provide better economical development, the standard of living we wanted to create in our country. So the rural people get basic amenities, okay. The basic facilities they must get, such as food, grains. Our government is providing better education, health, nutritious food, drinking water, housing, communication and electricity. Communication nowadays, the mobile network availability, that also government is assuring. More private as well as the government networking systems, communication and electricity system is there. There are major programs, so many programs and the projects and mission the government started in order to eradicate the poverty from our country. The government's ultimate aim is to provide a better standard of living. Okay, so the people want to get all these facilities. We have spoken so many things actually now. The basic thing actually, the basic amenities, the toilets, bathroom, roads, then proper houses for people, then drinking water, proper drinking water, communication and electricity facilities, education, and also proper health facilities, the hospitals in every villages. All these are the responsibility of government. Government is doing its work. The government also have a variety of other social security programs to help a few specific group. What are this? National Social Assistance Program is one such program initiated by the central government. Under this program, elderly people who do not have anyone to take care of them are given pension to sustain themselves. So see, the senior citizens, elderly people, okay, above 60 years. So there are, there are many people, they are abandoned. Actually, nobody is there to take care of their issues. So the government's responsibility is to protect them. That is why the government also has a variety of other social security programs to help a few specific groups. National Social Assistance Program. This name you need to remember. National Social Assistance Program is one such program initiated by the central government Under this program, elderly people who do not have anyone to take care of them are given pension to sustain themselves. Of course, the old people, they also wanted to live. They wanted to take care of their day-to-day activities. Also, their day-to-day life they want meals. Okay, so who will take care of their issues? The government. If no one is there to protect them, then the government wants to protect them. That is why the government is issuing pension to elderly people. Okay, the old people get, that is what, for their foods as well as for their medicines, etc. They also want money. That government is making sure. Poor women who are destitute and widows are also covered under this scheme. See, not only the old people, but the government is also taking care of destitute and widows. There are many ladies, women, okay, destitute. There are some, orphan people or orphan. Then the destitute means they don't have others to protect them. Then and also widows are also covered under this scheme. Widows means those who are not having husband. Okay, so they can also get some money, some amount. The government is making sure about their protection. Okay, the government has also introduced a few schemes to provide health insurance to poor people. So government also started providing insurance facilities to poor people. Poor people get insurance. From 2014, a scheme called Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana is available, in which people in India are encouraged to open bank accounts. So the government, our central government, in 2014, that is actually implemented by Narendra Modi government in 2014. 14 is scheme called Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana is available, in which people in India are encouraged to open bank accounts. So everyone must open the bank accounts. The government initiated everyone to take bank accounts compulsory. That is mandatory actually. Besides promoting savings habit, this scheme intends to transfer all the benefits of government schemes and subsidies to account holders directly. So if people are having their own bank account, then what the government can do? Government can transfer the benefits. Okay, benefits means the government can sometimes put some amount to some amount government transfer to the farmers, sometimes to the widows directly. Sometimes the government is also, every month of course, the pension also they send it directly to the account holders own account. Each bank account holder is also entitled to Rs 1 to 2 lakh accidental insurance. Under this actually, see, Jan Dhan Yojana, as per this Jan Dhan Yojana, some people has taken bank account, some people have taken this bank account, they will also get this accidental insurance coverage. So you understood that. Here in this page, in this paragraph, what is the main points? The government wants to protect elderly people, senior citizens, around above 60 years of age. Also the government wanted to protect the destitutes, widows and orphans, etc. Okay, so the government also provided a bank account to the poor people. So as per this scheme actually, the poor people can get bank account so that they can also receive the government's fund in their account directly. This is the main points here you see. Now you can move on to the next point. Efforts at poverty alleviation have borne fruit in that for the first time since independence. See, lot of changes nowadays we can see, visible changes are there. So our poverty alleviation is happening. The percentage of absolute poor in some states is now well below the national average. Now in some states you can see lot of changes. Tamil Nadu like states you can see lot of changes there. The poverty is actually coming down nowadays. So, despite various strategies to alleviate poverty, hunger, malnourishment, illiteracy and lack of basic amenities continue to be a common feature in many parts of India. Yes, of course, there are a lot of changes we can see, visible changes are out there. Government is doing, government is protecting elderly people, old people, also government is protecting widows and destitutes. Of course, that is true, and the government is providing better education to its citizens. Village people are getting a lot of benefits. The government schemes, government introduced so many schemes in order to bring changes in our country. That is working properly and a lot of changes occurred. But even though, then also, see, so then also we can say so many people are experiencing poverty. Okay, so the government is working for the eradication of poverty, hunger, malnourishment. So government is also providing nutritious food. Okay, so illiteracy we wanted to remove from our country, the basic amenities we wanted to provide to its people. Government is doing this, though the policy towards the poverty alleviation has evolved in a progressive manner. Over the last 7 decades, it has not undergone any radical transformation. So it is saying that there is not that much changes, okay, what we expect and what we expected. Yes, of course there is changes, okay, but 100% poverty alleviation we could not attain. Yes, of course, why it is happening? Because India is a vast country with so many people living in India. Our population is very high, okay. So you know that India is the second largest populated country in the world, and also we have more illiterate people, unskilled people. So what we wanted to do, if we wanted to bring changes in our country, then we needed to work on various such issues, and we wanted to answer to all those issues. We wanted to find remedies, we wanted to introduce or implement new strategies in order to remove the poverty from our country. The poverty eradication will happen only when we work together. The private as well as the government organizations work together. Okay, so we can check the next step actually. So you can find a change in nomenclature. So what is actually this? Sometimes the name may be changed, the programs and nomenclature means actually the changes may be, the names may, there you may find some changes in name, but the projects are still here. Okay, some programs the government introduced, some programs old programs, some schemes name they changed, but the programs are still active. So integration and some also they have done mixing all those programs, but still it is available. Okay. So however, none resulted in a radical change in the ownership of assets, process of production and improvement of basic amenities to the needy. So we have already gone through various programs and programs names, and our government is already trying its best to remove poverty, hunger, then providing better basic amenities, etc. So here they said actually the progressive manner everything is happening. So but then also what is happening, last 7 decades it has not undergone any radical transformation. The radical or complete changes we cannot see. Complete changes means 100% changes we could not attain. So what is happening? You can find change in nomenclature means actually the names might be changed. Some programs change, name changed. That's all. So while assessing these programs, state 3 major areas of concern which prevent their successful implementation due to unequal distribution of the land and other assets. See, these are the basic things actually we wanted to remember. Unequal distribution of land and other assets. The benefits from the direct poverty alleviation programs have been appropriated by the non-poor. So, what did you understand from this paragraph? Here actually, yes, of course, the government is trying its best to eradicate poverty. Okay. So, the hunger we wanted to remove, we wanted to provide better basic amenities, education, health facility to our people. So, some programs name might be changed, you may not find, say for example, before we were talking about actually about this Prime Minister's Rozgar Yojana. Now it's Prime Minister Rozgar Yojana, PMRY was there. Now its name totally changed. So another thing is that actually there before we were using Planning Commission. Now its name totally changed. That is known as Niti Aayog. Okay. So such type of changes you may find, but then also the scheme program still alive, active. Then we can see compared to the magnitude of poverty, the amount of resources allocated for these programs is not sufficient. Yes, of course, the government is actually doing a lot of work, but still the magnitude of poverty is still alive, the poverty is there. So, the program is not, whatever program is going on now and the resources allocated for this program, all these programs are not sufficient. Moreover, these programs depend mainly on government and bank officials for their implementation. What is happening? The bureaucrats, the government and its officials are more engaged with all these activities, the implementation of projects and its execution. Since such officials are ill motivated, what is happening? The bureaucrats and the government officers are not actually highly motivated, they are ill motivated. Okay, they are not actually very much interested, very much, not all, some are not very much interested, they can make delay the program. Inadequately trained, corrupt, prone and vulnerable to pressure from variety of local elites, okay. So, what is happening? Some officers are ill motivated and inadequately trained, they are not trained, they are corrupted people and vulnerable to corruption, okay, vulnerable to pressure. Also, from where they get pressure and corruption? So, it can come from the local elites. The resources are inefficiently used and wasted. There is also non-participation of local level institutions in program implementation. So, these are the main points you need to understand. Compared to the magnitude of poverty, the amount of resources allocated for this program is not sufficient. We wanted to increase the fund for all these above mentioned programs. We wanted to eradicate the poverty. Poverty eradication will happen only when we provide job opportunities, employment opportunities as well as better education. We wanted to train our people. Skill development we wanted to do. Then what is happening? All these developmental programs are taking place through the government officials. They are sometimes ill motivated, inadequately trained. They are not having enough training. They are not trained people. Corruption, they are also corruption prone and vulnerable to pressure from variety of local elites. Local elites means that in local areas there are many wealthy people and politicians. All those people can influence the government officers. Okay, the officials are being influenced by local elites. Okay. So, they can actually delay the program or postpone. Delay and postpone is the same, they can delay, postpone, okay. Then they can also cancel some programs, that all those they can do. The resources are inefficiently used and wasted. Sometimes what is happening? The resources are inefficiently used, not the proper way, inefficiently used and wasted. Sometimes they can waste also, it can go waste. Okay. There is also non-participation of local level institutions in program implementation. So, what is happening? So, that in the village there are many local level institutions are there, but the government is also not taking their support also for implementing such type of changes in our rural areas. The rural people only know the issues what they are facing. So that is why we wanted to take their support, as well as when we wanted to provide developmental programs. We wanted to take the local level institutions support for the development of our country. Then only the real changes happen, because you know that more poor people are living in the villages, poverty is more existing in the villages. The poverty eradication will actively take place only when we educate rural people and when we implement all those developmental programs effectively in the villages. Dear students, welcome to the economics class. We are doing chapter 4, poverty as a challenge. Poverty as a challenge. Government policies have also failed to address a majority of vulnerable people who are living on or just above the poverty line. So there are many people in our country, they are actually living under the poverty line. Okay, so many people are not having one-time meal also in our country. Yes, of course, there are many people. So it also reveals that high growth alone is not sufficient to reduce poverty. It's not actually, there are development is in our country, development is always taking place in our country. In many areas we can see complete transformation, but actually still the poverty exists in our country. Lot of development is taking place in our country, but poverty is still existing in our country. That is what the point. Without the active participation of the poor, successful implementation of any program is not possible. See, successful implementation of any program is possible only when more poor people participate with the developmental program. So therefore, we need to educate them, we need to give them better standard of living. So in this chapter actually we are studying about poverty. Poverty eradication is possible only we give better education and skill based education to our people. Okay, more employment opportunities we wanted to create in our country, then only the expected development will take place. That is what actually this chapter says. Government is actually implementing so many programs and projects, but what is happening? Still the poverty is existing in our country. So that we wanted to eradicate from our country. So we can check the next paragraph. Poverty can effectively be eradicated only when the poor start contributing to growth by their active involvement in the growth process. Yes, of course, we need poor people's participation if we wanted to eradicate poverty successfully. That is what actually. Poverty can effectively be eradicated only when the poor start contributing to growth by their active involvement in the growth process. Yes, of course, government always implementing some projects and programs. Why they are doing? Because we wanted to make India a better nation where there is no poor people exist. Okay, but that success we are not, the 100% success we are not getting because poor people are not effectively participating or actively participating with the developmental programs. So all that is possible through a process of social mobilization, encouraging poor people to participate and get them empowered. We wanted to bring poor people's empowerment. Okay, women empowerment we wanted to create in our country. So lot of developmental programs we wanted to implement in our country, lot of new strategies we wanted to implement our country. Then only 100% of poverty eradication is possible. This will also help create employment opportunities which may lead to increase in levels of income, skill development, health and literacy. Moreover, it is necessary to identify poverty stricken areas and provide infrastructure such as schools, roads, power, telecom, IT services, training institutions, etc. we wanted to create in our country in order to get the desired result. What is the desired result? What we wanted to attain? We wanted to attain a developed nation. Still we are developing only. We wanted to eradicate poverty from our nation. We want more skilled, highly educated, talented, professional people in our country who can participate with the developmental programs. Therefore, what we wanted to develop infrastructure. We wanted to make more better schools, hospitals, roads, power, telecom, IT services, and also training institutions. Training institutions means we wanted to develop, or we wanted to give more skill based education to our people. That is what actually. So the people must get more education, skill based education. Also they must actively participate with the developmental program in our country. Then only the poverty eradication is possible. We wanted to increase the levels of income, the poor people's income level we wanted to change. Therefore, we needed to give them employment. Also, we wanted to implement skill development. In every areas actually, our people must be skilled, highly talented, educated people. Then only a country can get its desired result. A country's desired result means development. That is what actually overall development in every field such as education, infrastructure as well as the IT, telecom field, also the health field, etc. So what is the conclusion says? We have traveled about 7.5 decades since independence. See, in 1947 India got freedom. After that 70 years is over. So we passed 70 years. Then also the objective of all our policies had been stated as promoting rapid and balanced economic development with equality and social justice. So what is happening? Last 70 years our government provided various kinds of developmental programs such as 5-year plans, etc. Then also that much changes we cannot see in the field of poverty eradication. So poverty is still existing in our country. Poverty alleviation has always been accepted as one of India's main challenges by the policy makers. It is a headache to our policy makers. Always the poor people are existing in our country. No government could eradicate the poverty completely. So always the policy makers are making new strategies and developmental programs in order to eradicate poverty. Still the poverty is existing in our country. So we wanted to bring the total changes, development, social justice, social changes. So many developmental programs our government is implementing. Why they do? Because they wanted to, first of all, they wanted to remove the poverty. Then only our country can get development, the desired development. Regardless of which government was in power, always the poverty is existing. So many governments changed in our country. All governments are doing their work and they are implementing the policies, strategies and plannings, proper plans, etc. So a lot of changes. We cannot say that there are no changes in our country. Of course, India got a development in many areas, but poor people are still existing here. So then what? The absolute number of poor in the country has gone down, and some states have less proportion of poor than even the national average. So many states in India like Tamil Nadu, etc. Okay, so like Tamil Nadu, there are many states in India. They are doing good work and they have done commendable work and they could get a desired result. The poverty eradication is happening in many states, but still there. That is what actually. So, yet critics point out that even though vast resources have been allocated and spent, we are still far from reaching the goal. So, in last 70 years, India is spending lot of finance to eradicate, or in order to eradicate the poverty, our government is spending lot of money, lot of wealth, finance. But then also what is happening, still poverty is existing in our country. That is the point. Critics, so there are some people, they are the critics, they what they do the proper reconnaissance or proper appraisal, they do study properly, and after that they analyze things properly and tell the clear data what is happening in our country. So, yet critics point out that even though vast resources, our Indian government, government of India is spending a lot of resources, okay, lot of resources in order to eradicate the poverty, but still the poor people are existing in our country, still they are here. So, what we want a complete changes or complete transformation when we say about poverty. The poverty eradication must take place properly. So, what actually, that is not only the government's aim, but ours too. We also wanted to help the government to attain its goal. That is why private as well as the public organizations are working together in order to get maximum development in our country. There is improvement in terms of per capita income and average standard of living. Of course, you see nowadays you can see Indian economy is flourishing and getting a lot of development in every areas. There is improvement in terms of per capita income and average standard of living. The standard of living has completely changed. Nowadays every facilities are available in India. India got better roads, better schools and better and best health facilities and overall changes in our country. Still poverty exists in our country. Some progress towards meeting the basic needs has been made, but when compared with the progress made by many other countries, our performance has not been impressive. It is said that actually, see, when we compare with some other countries, their progress is actually astonishing. So, that is, they have done commendable work and there is a lot of changes in their progress, but still India is striving. So, there are poor people still exist or living in our country. That is a great menace. So, we wanted to bring changes. So, our performance, there is not that much impressive performance. So, we want, especially bureaucrats, administrators, their performance and their strategy is not working properly, because that poor people's active participation, we wanted to make sure that is not happening in India. Then we needed to give better skill based education to people. So, that is why another thing is that when we compare to other countries, what is happening? Those countries we can see a lot of changes. That is another reason is that India is having a large number of population. India's population, huge population explosion is happening in our country. That is also hampering, or that is also making obstacles to our path. Okay, India is not getting the proper poverty eradication. That is why. So, we wanted to control our population. So, the government needed to take care of all those topics very effectively. So, moreover, the fruits of development have not reached all sections of the population. What is happening? Indian government is spending a lot of money for the development. So, we can say the development have not until now reached to the all sections of the population. Now, also our government needed to reach to the extreme villages and to the very inner areas of villages. We wanted to bring lot of changes there. Many rural areas are still not having good schools, good amenity, the basic amenities, also good hospitals and good roads, etc. Yes, the government is providing Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana, etc. and connecting the villages with the urban areas. So many changes we can see. Then also it is not 100% satisfactory changes. Some regions of the country can compete even with the developed countries in terms of social and economic development. See, social and economic development, of course there is a lot of changes. Even some of our areas can compete with the foreign countries. Okay, so our social and economic development is equal to some foreign countries. There are many millionaires are living in our country. So more millionaires are living in our country. Okay. So the same time more poor people are also living in our country. So therefore, if we wanted to eradicate the poverty, then we need to implement better strategy. So the government is working on all those issues relentlessly. Okay, the social and economic development we wanted to bring, and the government got so many changes. Okay, the government developed many areas so that we can see a lot of economic and social development in our country. Yet there are many others who have not been able to come out of the vicious circle of poverty. So many people got a lot of development and so many areas got development. So many people got employment opportunities, got better education, but even though then also what is happening, there are many others who have not been able to come out of this vicious circle of poverty. It is a very difficult situation. We wanted to get out of this difficult situation. It is possible only when we Indians work together for developing our nation, and also we wanted to eradicate the poverty from our country. Okay, that is one. So we are doing, and still we are doing the poverty eradication. The government is working on that. Government did before, and the government is doing, and the government will do. And government is committed to eradicate the poverty from our country. So of course, what did you remember from this chapter? Guys, I trust you understood the topic well. I also request you to read the chapter very well, understand more, and listen it again and again. Understand the topic more. So when you read it again and when you understand it, then you can have a better idea about our present economic social system.